Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day, afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. Well, I am still on the road. We're still doing our Vlogmas series, which is a little different than what we typically do here. Kind of chat a little bit, talk a little bit, give you a look at different things. I'm hoping to hit a World War II POW camp tomorrow, to post that a little bit later. Of course, you know, it's all subject to them being actually open when I show up tomorrow. But since I'm in the hotel, got some time to kill, I thought we would sit down with a cup of coffee, or in my case, tea, and chat a little bit. So if you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. Grab yourself a drink and let's chat. All right, a few things, a little update about me. Some people have been asking about my hip. Yeah, the MRI on my hip is next week. Very excited to get that. Been fighting some health issues for a while, some hip pain, bad allergies and more. And I'm taking this opportunity with everything happening in the world to sit down and take care of that. Now, I will say the doctor gave me this very powerful anti-inflammatory, and wow, do I love it. It's really done a good job taking down the pain. Now it's more, instead of constant pain, it's more pain that I'm just getting when I'm very active on my hip. I think the cartilage, the meniscus, or whatever they call it, is damaged there. We'll know with the MRI tomorrow, and they'll make a decision next week when I get home, and they'll make a decision what they want to do. I'll take you with that. Also start the allergy shots next week. Very excited about that. But I wanted to chat with you about hotel rooms. I'm in a hotel right now. I'm going to be in here probably about 14 days all done in SID, a little less, probably about 12 days in actual hotels. And they're very different this year. 2020, with the pandemic and everything happening, has really changed the way hotels work. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of go over my experience. So I've traveled cross country now 4 times during this pandemic and have seen a wide range of different hotels. I started traveling back in May, and I've gone through to the point where I can keep my Hilton Gold standard even without needing their extension. So I've traveled a fair amount this year. And it's kind of interesting. Each hotel is taking COVID a little different. And it doesn't really depend on states. For example, Texas is a wide open state. This hotel has got some pretty strict rules. Illinois had some pretty. But then again, in Illinois, there was another hotel I stayed at that didn't have that strict rules. Heck, the pool was even open there. So we're going to chat about all that, kind of break it all down, go over what I think of it, and let's just chat and enjoy a cup of coffee. Or tea. I'm much more of a tea guy. All right, so few big things I've noticed across all hotels I go to is the fact that cleaning is a lot more outside of your room, but actually in your room it's a lot less. For example, in this hotel, they will not clean your room unless you ask them to, and you cannot be anywhere near the room when they come. Most hotels have done that, where they've moved away from regular hotel cleanings. You know, typically you get everything done in a room. Over the last few years, that's been going down. A lot of it's been pushed as green, but a little thing I don't know if most people know is I have a hospitality tourism management degree. Hotels are something I studied in college a lot. And one of the things that my professor always said is the green movement is great because it saves hotels a ton of money. Instead of needing to change your sheets every day, they can do it every other stay or every so many days. Instead of needing to replace all your towels no matter what, they can say, hey, we're not going to do that because it's green. Honestly, you don't really need your towels changed. I mean, how often do you change your towels at home? And other little things. It saves them money. For example, in this hotel, this is the first Home 2 suite, which has got a little kitchen, where usually they will also put a couple of paper cups. This one says no paper cups. Only can do it through the mugs that are in your room. You just got to wash them, which they do have a dishwasher here in the room. A lot of that has to do with money, but also it's a way to fight the pandemic. Say, hey, we're just not going to send people into your room during this. Other hotels, like one in Missouri, perfectly normal. For example, here, no hot breakfast. They got some oatmeal packets out. They got a couple things of fruit. They got some microwave Jimmy Dean's microwavable sandwiches you can microwave yourself, and that's it. Missouri, Home 2 suite, wide open. Illinois, Hilton Garden, absolutely no food service. They just had a menu for IHOP out. It's very interesting. And it really comes down to where you are, what you're doing. For example, You know, in Illinois, which is a very locked down state, we stayed at a DoubleTree on the way up. If you watched one of my early cross-country trips, you saw me video that room and talk about it. That DoubleTree was very cheap at the time. The pool was open. A lot was open. The bar was open. But just down the road at a Home 2 suite we stayed at, none of that was open. So it's very interesting, very different to see how everything plays out with each hotel brand. They're all handling it differently because they're all owned by different people. Even though they're all under the Hilton brand, usually there's a different owner at each one. Not all Hilton hotels are, I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, not all Hilton hotels are 100% managed by the company. They franchise some of them out. So if you are traveling, it's very important to go and call ahead to find out, is it important for you to have a coffee? A lot of the hotels I stay at aren't having those big coffee places. Some are having them behind the countertop. This one is having the coffee bar just out like normal. It's kind of random, like, yo, we won't go in your room, we won't serve a hot breakfast, but the coffee bar is fine. I think it kind of goes back to what my professor said. A lot of this comes down to, how do we want to save money in this pandemic? You know, having a hot breakfast costs some money. Saying, hey, we're not going to do it, save some money. So keep that in mind. Now, I do believe fully that a lot of these are very legitimate, like the housekeeping. Hey, we're not going to, if you're in your room, we're not sending people into your room to clean it right now with the pandemic. Honestly, a lot of people probably would like that. So keep that in mind. But that's a little look at what's all happening in the world of hotels during the pandemic. I will say what's interesting is when I traveled in May, hotels were very empty. Now they're very full. For example, here, there's a cheer competition happening down the road. Hotel's completely booked. Last weekend, completely booked too, because just travelers, people out and about. I think people are getting to the point where they're sick and tired of being stuck at home. They're getting out. And with a lot of hotels running reduced operations, it's filling up the ones that are open. So it'll be interesting. You know, where I would go in a hotel, they'd be like, oh, there's only 10 rooms in this entire hotel full. Now it's, hey, when I was downstairs getting a new key card because mine stopped working, they were sending people to other hotels, other Hilton properties last night that were showing up because they had no rooms available here. Very interesting. So let me know, have you traveled? Have you not? Are you a tea person? I'm an Earl Grey, by the way. That tea brand that you saw at the beginning of this film, highly recommend it. You should check it out. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully, you're having a healthy, safe week. We have been very healthy. A little update too. We did get a little scare earlier that we were possibly exposed to some people. Thankfully, after we did the quarantine, we got the testing, everything came back negative. No one got sick. Very thankful for that. But we are on the road. Not what I would rather be doing, but my wife's work calls requires us to do this. We have to be here. I'm gonna help her move into her apartment. So sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do during pandemics and more. So appreciate everybody's support. Check back later this week for a really cool video. I'm hoping that POW camp's open tomorrow when I go. Thanks everybody for your support. I really appreciate it. We'll talk again soon. Take care, everybody.